Hey folks, David Stewart here. What I would like to talk about today or introduce today is something that I consider really important, a concept I consider really important, and that is called skill stacking or talent stacking. This is something that Scott Adams has talked about at length, and if you don't know who he is, he's the cartoonist who does Dilbert. He also writes a bunch of books. One of them is called How to Lose at Everything and Still Win Big, where he talks about this particular concept. But the idea of the skill stack is that you're going to combine a variety of skills to produce a unique set of skills for the market, rather than trying to be the best at one particular thing or being highly irreplaceable at one skill. And so from Scott Adams's example, he's like, lots of people are good at art and lots of people are good at writing, but very few people are good enough at art and writing to produce a comic strip and be successful with it like he is. And Dilbert has been a very, very popular comic strip, and I think still runs 7 days a week here in the United States and probably elsewhere. And this is also an important topic for me, just to give you a little bit of background, because I have needed to develop skill stacks to do the things that I do in my life. And I realized that there's a major shortcoming in, particularly in the college culture, when it comes to imparting to students the skills that they need to actually be successful, or allowing them access to develop good talent stacks so they can present a unique set of skills to the market. When I was done with my undergraduate degree in music, and I assume this is a very, very common experience, because every person I graduated with basically had the same thing, though they probably won't admit it, is that you get out into the real world and you realize that your undergraduate degree did not prepare you in any way, shape, or form for a career in music. Probably 10 to 20% of the things that you covered in your music degree actually ended up being in any way applicable to the market. At least that was my experience. And that's completely different from people who got, say, a performance degree in classical flute, and realized that there is no market demand for people with performance degrees in classical flute. But what was really missing was all the skills that I needed to actually have my career. Skills like knowing how to market myself, knowing how to run a business, knowing how to negotiate pay, knowing how to advertise, knowing how to figure out what kind of music, what kind of market wants from me, knowing which equipment to use, how to figure out endorsements and things like that. All of those skill sets were just completely missing from my undergraduate education, and instead you had a bunch of things that tend to focus on that one thing, like being the best at this. And a lot of people tend to think like, oh, I'm going to be successful. If I want to be a musician, all I have to do is just practice guitar really, really hard. I'll practice guitar till I'm the best at it. It's like, the problem is it's really hard to be the best. And also, even if you're a great guitar player, you're going to go out and be like, okay, well, how do I make money in this? And nobody's going to tell you or help you. It's like, well, I guess I got to hire an agent. I got to find a band. We have to somehow book all the shows. You end up paying a lot of people a lot of extra money. And you may not know if they're doing their job well, because you lack the skills to really evaluate them critically as well. So the idea of a skill stack in music, to me, is extremely important. And what I would like to do in this channel is not just for music, but for the other things that I happen to have a little bit of a skill stack in, is provide to you what you need to learn as an individual to be successful in what creative endeavor you're looking for. And I want to try to do as many different kinds of creative outlets as possible. I want to find people that are comic book artists to come on and tell me what kind of stuff you really need to be good at if you want to do graphic novels or you want to do comic books. Because I can tell you what kind of things you need to learn if you want to be a musician. The other thing I want to do is not just tell you what you need to learn, but actually provide some of that instruction. That was actually one of the original goals of this channel, was to provide guitar instruction for people who didn't have access to an instructor, or wanted to try things out at a low cost, or not have to spend thousands of dollars on a university degree or years of instruction in order to acquire a skill that they wanted with guitar. And that's especially important, the way I view it, how shortchanged people are by a lot of their college education in not providing enough diverse sets of complementary skills for them to be successful. But you really ought to start thinking about, as far as being a self-learner and developing your skill set to be successful in music or anything else, is what you need to learn in order to enhance the things that you're already good at. That's really, really important. So I want to try to provide a lot of that content going forward, and I want to key you into thinking about things in this particular way. Because if you focus on one particular skill set, you may end up in a very bad situation where you don't have anything else to really offer the market. But if you have a diverse set of skills that work well together, I think you can be pretty successful. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Tell me what you think about that and what kind of skills you think you would like to know about for whatever career career you're interested in, whether you want to know, hey, what do I need to learn if I want to make movies? Because I get a lot of this advice. I've been talking about this stuff actually for years. It's not just Scott Adams. I get a lot of people ask, hey, I want to be an actor. And it's like, okay, well, I would encourage you to think about being more than an actor, because if you're saying, I want to be an actor, I want to be in movies. Well, if you learn how to make your own movies and you could put yourself in them, you've not only have you created your own opportunity that didn't exist before, but you've actually saved a lot of money in producing your own value through your own labor. And you've saved a lot of taxes and all those sorts of things. If you're into being autonomous, the more stuff you do yourself, the less stuff gets kind of siphoned off in the tax system as well. So those are all interesting things to think about. But let me know what skills you want to learn, or what you think you want to be creative in, so I can go figure out what kind of talent stack you may need to develop in order to achieve what you want. And maybe this will cue you into thinking about what you're doing as far as your self-learning in a little bit different way. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you all will have a great day.